MG is back, and its current range of electric vehicles are hugely popular and some of the best cars in their classes. And MG sports cars are making a return too, with the all-new Cyberster electric roadster. But when we think of MG, we don't tend to think EVs. We think more of their sports car heyday in the 50s and the 60s, with one of the biggest icons of that era being the MGA. But were classic MG sports cars as good as we all remember them to be? Well, let's take this fixed-head coupe twin-cam MGA for a drive and find out. But first, our friends at Lancaster Insurance are running monthly giveaways. You can win all sorts, from experience days to tools, restaurant vouchers and tech. So click the link below at the end of the video to enter their latest competition. Pre and in fact post World War II, MG had enjoyed a lot of success on the global market with its sports cars. The T-Type Midget was loved the world over, particularly in America. They sold over 50,000 T-Type Midgets in fact. But by the mid-40s, it was a bit dated. It was, after all, a pre-war, mid-30s bit of engineering and design. Now, Sid Enver had designed a bespoke body for George Phillips' TD Le Mans racer, and it was worlds away from the 1930s derived car underneath. It was gorgeous, flowing, stylish. MG employees could see potential for a new MG sports car based on that gorgeous bit of Enver design. So they took the body from the Le Mans car, grafted it onto a lowered version of a T-Type Midget chassis and showed it to MG boss Leonard Lord. Initially, Lord was reluctant, having recently struck up a deal with Donald Healey to build the new set of Austin Healey sports cars. But he reconsidered when he saw that post-war MG sports car sales weren't brilliant. So there were some tweaks and revisions made to that initial concept to get it ready for production. For a start, the old X-Pag engine was binned in favour of the all-new B-Series, which was a much shorter and lower engine than the X-Pag, and that meant you could give it a lower bonnet line. After a few more tweaks, the car that was revealed at the 1955 Frankfurt Motor Show was a stunner, with gorgeous, elegant lines and appearances that wouldn't look out of place wearing an Alfa Romeo or a Maserati badge. I think this is a gorgeous looking little car. There's echoes of XK120, bits of Alfa Romeo in it in places. It's stunning, and it still turns heads just as much as cars that cost 2 or 3 times as much. And to signify the fact this was part of a whole new era for the company, the car would be called the MGA. And it had made a good first impression. Not only was it drop dead gorgeous to look at, but it was affordable. It started at less than £1,000, which made it notably cheaper than its Austin Healey 100 stablemate. And depending on which market you're buying for, whether it was sunny California or rainy Britain, you could have a convertible or this rather Jaguar-esque fixed-head coupe. The theme of an all-new MG for a new era continued to the mechanicals. The MGA was more than just a pretty face. Under the skin, it had a coil-sprung front end and a leaf-sprung rear axle, complete with rack and pinion steering. So what's the MGA like to drive then? Well, it's a gem. It drives exactly like a little sports car should. The steering, nicely weighted and just fingertip responsive without being nervous. The suspension too is really nicely set up for a rutted English B road. You'll notice this isn't a smooth surface here, and yet I'm not uncomfortable. Actually quite a smooth ride. But it's so nimble and agile. Fling it into a corner and it just grips on. If you get a little bit stupid with it, there's a little wiggle from the back end just to tell you ought to be careful there, chap. But really, you can play with it, just like you should be able to a little sports car. Feels light on its feet, feels eager and agile. Fantastic gearbox too. Tight gate, snicky throw. This is notably bigger than an MG Midget or Frog Eye Sprite, but it just feels like a bigger midget in truth. Everything's exactly where you expect it to be. The grip is superb, and it just feels chuckable and flingable and like it wants to have a good time. Exactly like a classic sports car should. The balanced chassis and the nimble handling gave the MGA provenance on the racetrack too. 3 concept versions took part in the 1955 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now one sadly retired, but the other 2 came 17th and 12th. Remember, this is an unfinished prototype at this point. It's got nothing to prove, and already it's competing and doing well in Le Mans. To this date, it's got 6 Sports Car Club of America National Championship wins, and even today it remains a favourite amongst sprint drivers and hill climbers for its eager acceleration, its nimble handling, and its fun factor. Combine these gorgeous Italian-esque looks, the fun driving experience, and the affordability, not to mention the option of a convertible, and America fell in love with the MGA just like it had the T-Type Midget before it. Of all MGAs built, 95% of them were exported, the vast majority of which went to America. Show me another British car made since with that rate of export success, let alone a sports car built by little MG. Woohoo! And keen to build on that initial success, MG didn't stand still. The 8 later got more power out of the 1.5, rising to 68 horsepower, but that was nothing compared to the 1958 MGA twin cam. Sporting a double overhead cam aluminium head, power rose from 68 to 108 horsepower. Motor Magazine tested an MGA twin cam and managed 113 miles an hour and 0 to 60 in 9 seconds. For the late 50s in an affordable sports car, that was rocket ship performance. And even today, it sounds great and it is quick. You would never believe this is a 60-year-old car. It just shifts. There's a remarkable amount of torque, but it does reward you for pushing on a bit. Whoa! The twin cam was improved under the skin as well. Beneath these gorgeous Dunlop knockoff steel wheels, the MGA twin cam got 4-wheel disc brakes, which, yeah, they work pretty well. Sadly, all was not rosy with the twin cam though. It did suffer with premature detonation and excessive oil consumption, both issues that sadly gained the car a reputation for unreliability. Now, improvements were made in later life. The compression was dropped and power reduced to 100 horsepower, which did cure those mechanical maladies, but a reputation for unreliability takes a moment to get and a lifetime to lose. So by that point, the damage to the A's reputation really was already done. But MG persisted further. The more luxurious deluxe model and the later Mark II offered improvements to the styling, a little bit more power and tweaks to the interior, which again is a really nice place to be actually. It's spacious in here. I'm just over 6 feet and I'm not struggling for headroom. I've got plenty of legroom, and while it's a simple dashboard, it just looks like a bigger version of a midget dash. It gives you everything you need. I've got all my nice gauges, a few little chrome touches here and there, nice comfortable leather seats, and a decent amount of storage behind the seats and in the boot. The style, the fun driving experience, the strong performance, the affordability and the remarkable practicality meant the MGA was a runaway success despite those concerns over reliability of the twin cam. All in, MG sold 101,000 of these cars. Even today, it's an icon of the Octagon's pinnacle era, and it's a much-loved classic the world over, seen as a stylish and glamorous sports car for half the money of an equivalent Jaguar E-Type. And it holds up even today. This is a near 60-year-old sports car, remember, and yet it's still plenty quick enough, the brakes are good enough that you can depend on them, and it is huge fun to chuck around, and easy to work on yourself with great aftermarket parts and club support. We're glad to see MG back, and that new electric Cyberster does show real promise. But if you want a sports car with an Octagon on the nose, you need to go back in time a bit to when MG was on its A game. This video is proudly sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. Give them a call on 01480 400 889 for an insurance quote on your classic car. And don't forget to click the link below to enter their latest competition.